it's Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. How is everybody today? Today is Friday the 13th of February. I hope that you all are having a safe, trickster kind of day for Friday the 13th, you know. I have to say, I will tell you this. Today is my wedding anniversary. Roy and I were married on a Friday the 13th of February, 39 years ago today. So it was a good day for us. 39 years and going strong. So yay for that. Don't be afraid of Friday the 13th. I had a friend that also chose to get married on a Friday the 13th. He said it was the only part of the wedding that he was allowed to choose was the date. And he chose, because it just happened to work out, that they would get married on Friday the 13th, because he said no matter what goes wrong that day, it won't be my fault. So he sadly passed away, but they were married the whole time. So that was kind of awesome. But that was his reason for picking the day. No wedding tragedies would be his fault. It would be because it's Friday the 13th, which was the day he picked. But our wedding went off without a hitch, and 39 years now. I'm not saying that for like congratulations and all that. It's just that it worked out well for us, even though it was Friday the 13th. We wanted to get married on Valentine's Day, but it was a Saturday, and they weren't going to. We got married by the mayor, and they weren't going to do weddings on Saturday, even though it was Valentine's Day. And then after we made all the plans and everything, they ended up doing weddings on Saturday, but we were already married because we got married the day before. We have moved. We are no longer in Florida. We are in Mississippi. We are in the Gulfport area of Mississippi, Old Bay St. Louis. Bay St. Louis. I love the old town Bay St. Louis. The little, old historic town of Bay St. Louis is one of my favorite places. It's quaint but fun. It's got little shops. I did a lot of videos there last year. Well, several, showing the downtown area and the bars on the river, and they have live music all the time, and it's a golf cart community, which I totally want to live in a golf cart community because I love driving my golf cart. Roy never gets to drive it. Not that he cares. He has to drive this all the time, so he doesn't care about driving the golf cart. I love the golf cart. And I thought, oh goodness, when we saw old Bay St. Louis, the old historic town, I'm like, oh my goodness, the last year, I so want to live here. I want to live in this community. It's pricier, but I'm going to tell you what the big drawback, and it doesn't seem like a big deal. I am not really an outdoorsy kind of girl. I'm not one that just hangs out outside. It's either too hot or it's too cold or it's too sunny, and I have vitiligo, so being in the sun is kind of an issue for me. So the weather has to be perfect in order for me to want to sit outside. But here, when the weather is perfect, they have these bugs. They call them no-see-ums. They are so tiny, they fit through the screens. We weren't here 10 minutes. I was bit 45 times. Those little suckers are vampires. They are baby vampire. I don't know what they are. They are not a mosquito. We pulled literally. I came in to go to the bathroom. I had 3 of them on me. I killed 3 of them on my hand in the bathroom. They're just insane, and they love me. They don't bother Roy, but they eat me like I am catnip or something. Catnip for them. So, to say the least, I told Roy, we weren't here 10 minutes. I said, there is no way I'm moving in this city. These insects just want to kill me. And they leave welts and stuff on me. I'm like, I don't know. Mosquitoes never eat me, but these no-see-ums, the little vampires that they are, I can't live with them. It's terrible. I will put up with them. They say putting like Skin So Soft on keeps them away, so we're definitely getting some of that. I have Skintastic or something that I will put on when we go to the parade tonight. We are having dinner with Chuck and Desiree. Remember my friend Desiree? We saw her in a video when we were live at Nancy's. Desiree was with me. Her husband is Chuck. And we're meeting also Joe from Joe's Web and Mario, her husband, for dinner and a parade. So we're meeting on the parade route. You know, I'm just showing up where I'm told when I'm told. They're the locals. They know what's up. And I'm hoping that they each bring me a purple scrap to add to my Sisterhood of the Traveling 10-Minute Knit Challenge scarf. I added a new color now. This is still from Nancy. So up until the dark purples and this lavender were my scraps from my granddaughter's blanket or sweater. And then the variegated is a scrap also from my granddaughter's sweater, but I'm putting in a couple of rows, whatever I feel like, a couple of rows in between all of the colors, you know, each scrap of yarn. So this was my first scrap from Nancy, and I did a change, and now this is the next scrap from Nancy, and it is purples, and there is black in there. So I'm doing some black now. It's my first time knitting with black. It doesn't, it's only been, you know, 10, 15 stitches. It doesn't appear to be as hard to knit with black as it is to crochet with black. Because your stitches are all on your needle, so it doesn't, you can't not see them, right? Because they're all right there. If I had to add stitches, you just yarn over to add a stitch, right? I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm not that good at knitting. I really should watch more how-to knitting videos, but I just keep knitting, just keep purling, just keep knitting, just keep going and going. Someone did say that when I get this hole, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm having still a big learning curve on the metal needles. They're so slippery that several times my work has like just sliding right off, and I'm having a hard time figuring out how to hold the needle with the yarn on it, you know, the working needle with all the fabric. I'm having a hard time figuring out how you hold that, hold it loose enough that my stitches aren't too tight, and sometimes it just all wants to slide right off. Like I'm holding the fabric and I'm just going, and all of a sudden my needle wants to come out the other end, and I'm like, ah! I did that a couple of times. And sometimes I'm pulling off the stitch, and I find that I didn't pull off the stitch. I thought I had pulled off the stitch or I put it back on because 2 or 3 stitches came off, and I put back on more than what I should have without realizing, just because I'm not that good at it. And so I've gotten a couple of holes, and I think those are where my stitch came off. 2 or 3 stitches came off, and I thought it was just 2, and maybe I thought it was 2, but I put 3 back on, or you know what I mean? Or it was only 1 stitch that came off, 1 additional to what I was supposed to have come off, and then I ended up with the hole, because they say somebody told me when you do a yarn over, you get the hole. Well, using the wooden needles, I never had that problem. Using the metal needles, I have that problem. I have another one here, and when they told me it's from a yarn over, it like all of a sudden clicked. That's probably when I keep losing the stitches off. You know, they keep more come off than what I think, you know, more than the 1 come off, just because it's so slippery. And so I try to like hold this on, that, you know, like as I'm knitting up this piece onto here, I try to hold the ones below it with this, and but I don't want to hold everything too tight, because then that means my yarn gets tight. And anyway, then sometimes that's when I do that, that's when I've noticed the whole hook wants to fall out. So I understand why when those women from the older women from Game of Wool, the judge women, they said that when they knit, they hold their like this, and then you have your hands free and you can just knit like this. I would need a longer hook, because that's uncomfortable for me. But I can understand if you're doing that. Whoa. If you're holding it in your arm like that, which is the old-fashioned way to do it, nothing's falling off the back end. And you don't really have to hold this one, so you can just work your yarn and your other needle and not have to worry about this needle. Well, I'm like, that makes sense to me. Even if it's the old-fashioned way. The other thing that I found is if I set the needle down so that it's like on my stomach and I don't have to support the weight of the needle, I can just play with the yarn and let the needle sit on my belly, or the work, you know, let it, like if I'm here at the table, just let it sit on the work. Then I can knit and not have to worry about everything sliding off. So then you say, why don't you just go back to the wooden needles? Because I didn't have that trouble with the wooden needles. The wooden needles that I have are circulars, and my size 6 broke, and I haven't been to a store and remembered to buy glue to fix them. So until I remembered to buy the glue, I can't use them. Unless I went up a hook size or down a hook size, and I don't want to do that. I'm just continuing on with the holes in it because it's just for me, and it's just a practice scarf. I don't know how to fix it without frogging it, and I'm not doing that, that's for sure. And it's gonna be like long, and you're gonna like wrap it around and around, so you won't see those holes, particularly since it's such a tube. You know, it'll just be wrapped around and around, and you won't even see them. So I don't care. And it's always going to be special because it's my Sisterhood of the Traveling Scarf. I can wrap myself in all of my friends when I wear it. So that's that. And it's getting really, really long. Let's see. Got my handy dandy purple. I know sometimes they stretch, but we're just going to pull that thing out and hold it up here at the top. I did put in a new lifeline because that's the smartest way to do it. And let's see, it's longer than my arm span. It is, we're gonna go with just about 53 inches. 53 and a half, 53 and a half inches. Doesn't seem like all that long for as much time as I've spent doing it. I'm not timing myself anymore. I am so much slower with these needles because my stuff keeps falling apart. You know, I keep dropping on the metal. So I really should remember to get some glue and go back to my wooden needles, because I think faster, just because I'm still so uncoordinated with it. I like the knot circular, what do you call them, straight needles. I do like them. I think a smaller pair, I don't know if they come smaller, I don't know what the inches is of this, I really don't know sizing. I liked working with the smaller needle, but then it was the circular. I kind of like the flexibility of not being attached, but maybe if this needle was indeed smaller, it would be easier for me, because I won't have this, you know, like this would be, you know what, I could move this up and make it like a smaller needle. I don't know if it would, right? Why didn't I ever think of that before? Nancy gave me, because my work was falling off the end, Nancy gave me these that she keeps on, she puts these on the ends of her clovers to make them longer. They're pencil grips that she gets at the Dollar Tree. That would kind of shorten me up. Oh, now I can't wait to try this. Ooh, 10 minutes of knitting. Here we go. But anyway, that's the progress. New yarn on, new lifeline added, and we're going to try that. Moving it up to give me not as much room for stuff to slide around. I like that. I do, because the ends of these needles aren't very wide, and I asked about that when I bought them, and they said, oh no, that won't be a problem. And then all of a sudden my work came off twice. That was a problem. Might not be a problem for a good knitter, but for us beginners, hey, anything that we can do to help helps, right? So that's the knitting progress, and I've been just going on and on and on about the knitting. Now I did crochet. I want to show you, I went a little crazy on my star blanket. It's not done. It is a Hooked by Robin, something easy rippled ridge, easy ridged ripple something. It is in the description box. I have 2 star blankets in the description box. One is the one that Lynanne made, and the second one is this one. And I left the one that Lynanne made in there because I still want to make that one. But maybe I won't. I don't know. I kind of went crazy. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, and I just want to make it bigger. And so, and I was crocheting in the car, and that was the only crochet I had with me. And I'm like, oh, I think it's too big now. But I was in the middle of a round, and I'm like, I'm making, and so then I laid it out across the couch, and I'm like, it's just gorgeous there. So I want to show it to you laid out. So hold on, we're just gonna, and that is what it looks like laid out on the back of my couch. It's not done, because once I got it on the back of the couch like that, I thought I want it to go across the whole back of the couch. It's already too big for Boggy, which they're really going to be, holding us accountable to size from this point on, because they have too many blankets that they cannot use for the cabins, and storage is an issue. So as far as Boggy blankets go, it's too big, which is okay, because I wanted to make one for my daughter anyway. And so that's why I knew it was good. I did my, I know that 40 inches is about here on me. And I knew when it got to like over here, it was too big. And I kept going anyway, because I thought, well, I might make it for my daughter. Then I put it on the back of the couch, and I said, I might make it for me. And Roy saw it up there today, and he's like, that's beautiful. So maybe I'll make it for him. But I want to make it, and this is a 3-seater couch. It's not a like small love seat like in a lot of times in a camper. That's what they have. This is a full-size couch. I can lay on it flat. I could nap on that couch, but it's got 3 recliners in it, so you can recline and nap in it too. It's not comfortable enough to sleep all night in, I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, back to the blanket. It is all Crafter's Secret yarn from Hobby Lobby is the red and the white. I bought the big 1-pounders. The blue was a gift, and that's Big Twist. And then the variegated is also from Hobby Lobby, their print Americana color. Because the blue that they have in the 1-pounders at Hobby Lobby the blue does not look good with the variegated yarn that the red, white, and blue variegated yarn that they sell at Hobby Lobby. The blues just don't match. The blues that I could find anyway, for their big 1-pound ones. I like using the 1 pound ones. You don't have, I don't know. I like using them. I think you get a better value for your money, first of all. So anyway, I did want to mention that I am using a 7mm hook with this blanket. Normally I go with a 6 is a just go-to, but for some reason something told me to grab the 7, and I did, and I am very, very glad that I'm using the 7mm hook. It is very nice, and it's not stiff at all, and so I like that about it. And there was something else I wanted to tell you. Oh yeah, the first 7 rounds are not repeat. You know, it's like you have to watch the tutorial and do that. Then you start the repeat, which is a 3-row repeat, but really it's 2. It's 1 row does the ribbing, and then the next 2 rows 2 and 3 are pretty much the same row. So it's like 1 2 2 1 2 2 for the row numbers, but it's 1 2 3. I mean, that's what she calls it. And then you can just make it as big as you want to go. I think I want to end it. Part of me says that when I end it, I want to end it on a blue round, just because it's the darker color. I definitely don't want to end it on a white round. And I could, you know, I don't like to. White gets dirty, you know. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it for myself, but it's definitely not going to be a boggy blanket because it is 56 inches wide. From point to point on the 12 points. Oh, and the other thing is the blanket that Lynanne made, and I can't remember who it's by, but it is listed in the description box. It was a 6-day. You can make this blanket in 6 days, and I think it was 5 repeats that you do in 6 days. And I had said something about making this particular star blanket. And I had said 6 hours. I meant 6 days. See if I could do the boggy size in 6 days. And I think I did. When it was big enough, I keep looking at where it was when it was big enough. When it was big enough, I definitely say that I did that in a week's time, or pretty close to it. The tutorial for the 6-day blanket, 6-day pointed star or something it's called, is that you work 2 to 4 hours a day for 6 days. So if you work 4 hours a day for 6 days, that's 24 hours. Right, 4 times 6. I'm sure in 24 hours this was a boggy size blanket. Now each row is getting longer and longer and longer to make. Now I think I can go around. When it was not quite 40 inches, it was coming short of 40 inches on my measurement of 40, it being here. It was more like here, so maybe 2 rounds. It was taking me a half an hour to go around once. Now it's taking me about an hour to go around once. So there's a lot more stitches. I think I'm at about 25 stitches coming up and then 25 stitches coming down to make the points. So when you do that times 12, because it's a 12 pointed star, there's a lot of stitches going on in there. And it is taking longer. So I think it's taking me about an hour now to go around. Maybe a little less than an hour. But now is when it starts getting to the point of it's taking some time to do it. And I think to myself, I want it to be as long as the couch, but I'm thinking I probably got another 24 hours worth of crocheting in it to get it to go all the way across the back of that couch. But I will stop it for sure. And I have it folded in half. So then I'm thinking I should have just done, like, I don't know how, but gone back and forth in a half circle, and then I could lay it on the back of the couch instead of being the full circle, because I really like it on the back of the couch, but I should be able to cut it in half, and that would make it better. But then you really can't curl up in it so well, right? but like a big pointed shawl. I guess that's how you would do it, like a big shawl. Anyway, when the points touch the seat or the points are to the edge, that's when it's going to be done. And on a blue round, or I run out of yarn. But I got a lot of yarn still, so I think I'm going to have to get more of the variegated. Oh, trip to Hobby Lobby. Darn. I do have one more skein plus a half a skein or something. But I don't know that that'll go around all the way. It's getting a lot of stitches on there. So anyway, that's my progress with the two. I have not picked up the heart blanket, and I haven't done my boggy yet. My luck of the draw. That was drawn yesterday. I will work on that after I finish this round. I'm halfway through a round on the blue, but I just got late and I got tired and I went to bed. So I finished the round on the blue, and then I know what the number is, but I'm not sure what my color is, but I think it's the green I needed for my luck of the draw blanket. I'm very excited about that. That will continue to be a boggy blanket. I'm not going to overdo it on that one, I promise. It's only, you know, it's at the like 40-ish inches wide side of it, or it's just under 40 inches. So what else would I use it for but boggy at that size? You know, it's not going to fit on a bed or be a lapdan or whatever. And it's definitely for the kids. I love it. And I'll show you guys that in the next video. And that's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I was rambling at the beginning. It happens. I hope the stories were funny. Anyway, we are in Mississippi for 2 weeks. And Lynanne will be meeting up with us here. And then we're starting our like month to 6 weeks long journey out to Arizona for spring training and the Grand Canyon. And we'll be adding, hopefully, some new stickers on our map. We haven't added one new sticker yet since we started this trip in October, since we left Ohio again. We've been to all these states. Now we need to head off to this side of the country. Oh, not many stickers there. But we are going to Texas, and you add a sticker when you sleep in the state. And we have stayed in Texas. So, not in our camper, but we have stayed in Texas before. So it's already on there. But hopefully we'll be filling up this over the next 4 or 5 months. All right, you guys, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for liking, sharing, subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the button. Hit the thumbie. It's free. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.